Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. For those of you who might remember, I think it was last month, I went to CradleCon, which is a small comic book convention on Long Island. It's in Garden City. It's located in the Cradle of Aviation Museum. And I went for the sole purpose of meeting Heather Antos. Now, before everybody starts tarring, feathering me, tries to cancel me, I believe in the power of conversation. Maybe I'm naive, maybe I'm silly, maybe I'm stupid. Yeah, I'm naive, I'm silly, I am stupid, but that doesn't mean I'm wrong. I would like to have conversations about comic books with everybody, whether we agree or disagree. And I disagree with Heather Antos, but that doesn't mean we can't have a conversation, because that's the way I think. So I went, and I didn't bring my card, but I went, and I figured fair is fair. I was trying to monopolize some of her time, so I bought a package of number ones of comics. So this was all the comics that came in, and I thought this would make a good idea for a video at some point in the future. Why is it all pixelated? That's going to drive me nuts. I talked to her. I gave her my card for my comic book, Heroic Tales, number one. I told her the superhero was the patriarch, and in person, she was pleasant. She was, we had a conversation. Who knows what she said when I left. I invited her on my channel. I went home and I requested friends with her on Facebook, sent her a message, and so far she hasn't seen my message except my friend. But I did my due diligence. I went out of my way to try to talk to somebody about comic books and the comic book industry. And it wasn't going to be an ambush. It wasn't going to be just me like, hey, yeah, look, yeah. It was going to be an actual conversation. I would have rised or lowered to the occasion. If she came out swinging, I would have came out swinging. If she was willing to have a civil conversation, I would have a civil conversation. I mean, I'll talk with Ron Mars. I'll talk with Mark Waid. I'll talk with Dan Slott. I want to talk to these people, and I don't think what is this right there? I don't think it's just a good idea to just blanket hate people and whatever. So as of now, she's not coming on my channel, but I do have these comics, and because I paid for them, I have to read them. And this hesitation on this big camera is going to drive me crazy. So maybe if I plug it in, let me know. That's not helping. All right, so I'm just gonna have to remember that it's on a delay or whatever. But anyway, I bought these comics, and now I had to read them. So I read them just now, and I figure I might as well talk about them now while they're fresh in my memory. Now, for those of you who've been watching my channel, you know that I don't really do negative reviews. And I do say I will, for the most, life's too short to read bad comics, but I read them. And I paid for them, and I might as well use them on my channel. So I do negative reviews if there's a point. Now, this isn't just I'm going to slam because it's Heather Antos or whatever. I mean, spoiler alert, most of these I don't like, but I will try to point out why. This isn't just like, I hate it, it's bad. So join me on a voyage of disappointment and whatever. So this is Terra Yard. Anybody? I see the 7 people watching. Could somebody just tell me if it looks good? I'm using a different audio system. So just let me know. Do I sound good? Can you hear me? Post something in the comments. This camera is driving me nuts. My internet is just off today, and I don't want to hit any buttons because that'll just cause problems. So please, somebody just let me know in the chat if it sounds good. So this is Terror War, right? Okay, and as you can see, autographed by Heather Antos. Like who cares if the editor? It's Image Comics. So let's open it up. Let's look at the credits. This pixelate is going to just drive everybody away. So we got written by Saladin Ahmed, pencils by Dave Acosta, inks by Jay Leistein, colors by Walter Pereira, letters by Sean Lee, edited by Heather Antos. I'm going to put the movement down to a minimum because this pixelation is just going to drive everybody crazy. All right. So no comments yet. Oh, also, if you would like to join me, and talk about the comics, here's the link. You can click this and join me. You can click this and join me. All right. So please, somebody comment. I just feel like I'm talking to the vapors right now. All right. So this was oh, geez, I can't even read, and I'm afraid to move it now because of the. Okay, this is 2023, April 2023. So welcome to another beautiful day in Blue City. So this guy wakes up. You know, this is fine. Splash page. You know, he's this pixelation is just killing me. He's just a. I feel like I should start over and switch cameras because this camera's being fine, but the one that matters is being crazy. So he's. Should I start over? Anybody? Can anybody hear me? So the guy wakes up, takes a shower, goes outside. Nice cityscape. It's like Blade Runner. It's futuristic Blade Runner. Everything's crowded and they're in the poor district. His name's Mohammed Cho. He meets the kindly food vendor. The kindly food vendor gives him off some food. He won't eat it because there's not enough food in the neighborhood. And then he sees this guy running, looks, hinting at being chased by Mickey Mouse, which actually made me giggle. And here we got, it's a frog, fake out. So he's being chased by this cartoon frog. And when it touches him, it burns him up. So there you go. So far, no complaints. No complaints. No problems. No spelling errors. Everything's fine. The color's fine. The art is not particularly my style, but I got no complaints. This right over here just rubbed me the wrong way. He says that these are terrors. So it's kind of like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or the poltergeist in Harry Potter. They look like what you were most afraid of. And this guy was terrified of this frog cartoon ever since he was a kid. Now, I just realized now it's a big old frog. Is this a dig at Ethan Van Sciver? I don't know. I didn't realize that until just now. But he turns on this Bluetooth device and he has mind bullets. And now that just made me cringe a little bit. He has mind bullets. So he's right. And he fires away. Boom, 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 boom. And he explodes. Not he explodes, the terror explodes, and he kills it. And now it says, I am Mohammed Cho, terror fighter. I protect Blue City. So boom. Premise is set up. He's taking the subway, and everything's broken, everything's horrible, everything's ugly, except for this one city, except for this one tower. And every time he gets into looking at it, the screens go black, and they have paid commercials on all the windows. So it's just like, living under late stage capitalism. Again, so far, no complaints. He doesn't believe in heroes, and it turns out that they all fight these terrors. This pixelation is driving me crazy. They all fight these terrors, but they have to get paid to do it. Food costs money, medical expenses, blah, 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 blah. Can anybody hear me? 14 people watching. Can somebody please say something in the comments to let me know how this is coming out? If this is, whatever. So we meet the rest of the team. They're wonderfully diverse. We got May, good-looking black girl. Dmitry, nerdy scientist, Russian. Dr. Paz, just, big bruiser guy. And Rosie, the overweight sidekick. So there you go. Wonderfully diverse. They're making coffee. They're talking. She's cleaning them up. Will they, won't they? And they find out that another terror is forming. So they got to go off. They don't even have time to clean up. So they suit up. And this terror is just so powerful. It's like overwhelming this canvas. And this, I got to admit, is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. So it's a big undead zombie soldier. It actually scares them. Even though their brains have these cybernetic implants so that they're not affected by these things, they still have reactions to it. And then this I thought was a little jarring. The credit hounds come out and just rip somebody apart, and so I guess he's thinking of, is it like this page to me was just like I just didn't see where it fit. What happened? some of us know where our feels. Oh, so he's explaining his fears, but it was just really jarring to me. So far, that's the only negative thing I can say about the comic. And now they're going back to a reality, and they're just waiting. They're just waiting until the bounty is posted for this terror. We don't know who posts the bounty. We don't know where the money comes from or why. We don't even know why the terror. It's the first issue. They collected the bounty, which is literally like in this little cylinder, which is important later. And boom, 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 boom. They fire. This is another thing, just a minor. This is a minor nitpick over here. They're aiming for the head, but it's understood that these things are just protoplasmic goo that take the shape of whatever you're afraid of. So why would the head matter? You know, wouldn't they have some sort of undifferentiated body type? And boom. You know, and it blows up. The female gets hurt, and they need now to collect the bounty to heal her. You know, that, you know, late stage. And then what have you got? The guy in the commercial. We're going to take that bounty from you. So literally, they want that cylinder to take the bounty. So I guess it got downloaded into there. I don't know. This is the first issue. So again, sorry to disappoint you guys. I actually like this comic. Will I collect it? No. It's not my thing. But I can't really complain. This was a solid comic, high concept. You know, not a big terror war. It's called, by Image Comics. So there you go. This was the first one. Again, I paid $10 for all of these comics. This seems to be a new IP from Saladin Ahmed. Can anybody tell me if you read anything by him? Did you enjoy it? Because this wasn't bad. The dialogue is a little hokey, you know, but it's set in the future. Maybe that's the way they talk. I don't know. I'll give it a break because it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Out of A, B, C, I'll give it a C plus. C plus. You know, it's tough to get an A out of me, and it's a C plus. It could go to a B if the next issues were good. So there you go. I know that disappointed everybody. Heather Antos edited comic that I actually liked. I won't say enjoyed. And this is another Image Comics, Stars and Signs, also by Salman Ahmed, and others. Oh, okay, I got a comment. Comics with Jose. The sound is good, the camera is glitchy, but the sound is good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the... my internet kicked off a couple of times tonight, so I think there's nothing I could do. My internet is just acting wonky. I apologize for that. You know, I don't know what to do. Maybe next time I do this, I'll switch the cameras, because who cares if I'm glitchy or not? You want to see the comic. Let's see if I could do this to make it focus better. I don't know. It's still glitchy. So here we got, here's the Heather Antos autograph, and let's open up the comic. So what year is this? It's also 2003. Okay. So 2003, we got, why can't I think of the signs of the zodiac in the sky? We got strong female, Tatiana. It's funny whenever I'm thinking of whenever I hear the name Tatiana, I think of the Critical Drinker, and they're astronomers. Again, doesn't bother me. Who cares? This is the professor. You're right. And, oh, wait. This is like a student, and here's the professor over here. And they're fighting with, telling everybody to leave. This is Mr. Duke. Who's Mr. Duke? Don't know. They introduced him, and we don't know who he is, but the Aurora Borealis is going off. He's telling her, I appreciate how much you helped me. I couldn't have became anything without your help. And she's like getting emotional. Apparently they don't have that type of relationship, but something big is going to happen. Then he says, let's watch the stars die. And I got to admit, right then and there, I got a little hooked. Watch the stars die. What's going on? Keep in mind, I was prepared to be totally disappointed. So my expectations were way low. I'm being total transparent. So right here, I was like, all right, this art's not that bad. This guy's a little stumpy, I don't like the mental illness haircut, but what do you want me to do? They're not superheroes. They're not superheroes. And then the zodiac explodes and they find out that the stars are going out. Interesting premise, I got to admit. Interesting premise. Hey, we got another comment. B Powers. Hello, all. How you doing? Oh, that's Donald Sutherland. Donald Sutherland. We're from Kelly's Heroes. Yeah. Right? That's from Kelly's Heroes, right? Am I mistaken? And now Brooklyn, New York. And what we have here is, I was going to say something mean, but these two are roommates. She's, they're grad students. He wants to make documentaries, and I literally forgot what she does. Their apartment's kind of, nice for Brooklyn, and they want to smoke a joint, but she's like, my dad's calling. She's like, don't take the call, blah, blah, blah. I'll talk to my dad. So Dad is just wonderful. Another thing I didn't expect, and Heather Antos edited a comment, the dad is just a nice guy who's just gushing love and praise. The way she was reacting, I sounded like, oh God, here we go. Dad's going to be it. And Dad's cool. He wants to spend time with her, but he can't. He turns out he's a traveling musician, so he can't be here at this particular time for her. He'll see her in a couple of weeks. And Mom died, and they would like to be closer, physically and relationship wise, but they can't. This glitchy video is driving me crazy. Hey, Marcus is here. How you doing, Marcus? How's everything? How's everything? And again, the link is here if you want to join me. And I'm kind of hooked at this point. They're talking about the stars have extinguished. So I assume there's still the sun. They didn't mention it, but there's no stars in the sky. And life is going on with her. And I do like what she's saying, what she says. She says, I want to, the documentary guy says, I want to record all of your thoughts about the stars going out before you lose your real opinion and then regurgitate what you were told to think by Twitter and media news. I thought that was pretty interesting because let's face it, that's exactly what happened. I don't need to explain what I'm talking about. I'm trying not to be political. Oh, that's right. She's a chef. So now she's going to work. Her partner called in sick, so she's got to cater this party all by herself. And when she gets there, mean white woman says to the poor overworked dumpy POC, we need to double our order. She's like, I can't do that. She goes, what do you mean? Just work harder. She's like, it's not a matter of working harder. It's just there's just not enough time to cook all this food. And then boom, cascade explosion, and she stopped time. So time is now stopped. She's the only person who can now move in this time. Yes, Shadowpunk. Yes, I explained at the beginning that I met Heather Antos at a Comic-Con for the sole purpose of inviting her on my channel and talking to her about comics, like a real conversation. Explain her point, why we're wrong. I'll explain my point, why I think she's wrong. And a full, regular, we could disagree conversation, but I wanted her to know that we Comicsgate are not the demons that they need us to be. Of course, she didn't, but I did my due diligence. I tried. I also bought $10 worth. I bought a bundle of number ones. So because I paid for the comics, I had to read the comics. Since I read the comics, I might as well make a video out of it. You know what I mean? So there you go. Does that explain everything? And I'm trying not to move the comic around because I don't know what's going on, but the internet is really, really bad tonight. Oh, and by the way, Shadowpunk was on my it's clobbering time, which I might do tomorrow night. I'm having friends over for games, so if they leave at a decent time, I might do it's clobbering time. So Shadowpunk and Marcus, if you want to come by, and anybody come by, we'll do. And I have ideas for the next it's clobbering times. I think you're gonna like it. Okay. Oh, and Kelsey Shannon messaged me. He's okay. We're gonna probably do Two Beards, one comic. Tuesday at 8. Tuesday at 8. Okay. So what internet do I have? I have no idea. My wife takes care of all that. I'm like a big little child. I sit down here, read comic books, drink my coffee, and don't pay attention. She asks me money for bills. Give her the money for bills. We have a good system. We have a good system. I'm a big child and she's not. So I do want to point out that even Terror War, the comic that I said was good, it did have forced cursing. Like your boy Zach, Richard Meyer, says a lot of these SJW comics seem to have a lot of forced cursing. And you can see right over here what the F is happening. But then again, I'm making an all ages comic, so maybe I'm a little oversensitive to that, so I understand. And to be honest, it kind of fits the situation. If all of a sudden you found out that everybody was frozen in time, you might guys, I'm sounding better than I am. In real life, I curse like a sailor. I'm a construction worker. Every other word is F. Every other word is C. Every other word is shit. You know what I mean? So I'm acting like I'm holier than thou when I turn on the camera. So here we go. I'll wait for the pixelation to stop. And she's going outside to see what's going on. Everything is frozen. Now, this is the only point that I nitpick with this comic. What would you do if you found out that everybody in town is frozen? So she's like, oh, now I have time to cook all this food. So she goes, she says, cooking always relaxes me. I like to think. So there we go. She starts cooking all the food. And then time, she apparently she calms down and time goes back and boom, all this food just appears in front of this woman and she doesn't say anything. Like, I need food. Boink! There's food. Like, to me, these are 2 points that are too fast. Normally, I say that these modern comics are decompressing. They take too long. But these are 2 character plot points that I think should be explored. What do you do when you find out you could control time? You know what I mean? You don't just, oh great. If I'm at work and the pipes need to be bent and installed and everything like that, and I found out I could freeze time. Oh, good. Now I could work and get my day's work done. No, I'd be like, what's going on? And then think, this woman just doesn't react to food magically appearing. So there you go. I thought that was rushed. Maybe it's rushed. I don't know. I wasn't there. So now she's like, oh, good. The food's ready. This food's ready. And now she gets home and she's about to smoke her joint and she listens to David Bowie. We all love Bowie. Bowie's a plot point not plot point, but a character point in my comic. The patriarch and his wife didn't like each other until they were at a party one day and they were just having a conversation about music. They both found out that they were fans of David Bowie, and that's what got them to break the ice, and they became the loving couple that they are. So yeah, I got no problems. I love Bowie, big Bowie fan. Bowie seems to be the one guy that everybody likes because Bowie has every type of music. You know what I mean? If the Beyonder came down and said you could only listen to one musical artist, you wouldn't be bad to pick Bowie because you'd have like every type of music, hippie music, heavy metal, think about Tin Machine, stuff like that. But focus. All right. So now the next morning she's talking to her roommate and she's trying to explain what happened. So she goes, look. So she stops time, but of course he's frozen. So, let me see if I could stop this. So she concentrates and he didn't notice. He didn't notice because, she's in the same position and everything like that. And then right here, hold that thought, dude. I got to go take a dump. I don't know. Do roommates talk like that? You know what I mean? I had girl roommates. They never talk like that. They would say, excuse me, I have to use the restroom. One girl roommate used to say, I have to move my bowels. And now she's trying to figure out what's happening. And then boom, the woman from the beginning with the mental illness haircut has blasted through the doors and she says, hello, Taurus. You're coming with me. And there we go, star signs. And that's the end of the comic. Now, so I look at this, not bad. It's not bad. We're seeing a pattern here. Saladin Ahmed, I've been saying his name wrong. He could write comics. This art is not my favorite, but I didn't notice anything egregious. It's not, but then again, it's not superheroes. It's like sci-fi. The characters, didn't really bother me. So I would also give this one a C out of A, B, and C. C, passing grade, passing grade. Would I collect it? I'm not collecting it, but it's not that bad. Okay. Now let's get to the 3 Star Wars books. Okay. So now we're at the 3 Star Wars books, but let me address the chat. Okay. Marcus says he works with the internet. Come up here from Atlanta, get in your van, drive to New York, and fix my internet. Do it now while I'm still alive. My wife gets on me for curse. You know, it's funny. It's my wife and I both curse. And then every once in a while, we both we got to stop cursing. This is getting ridiculous. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it gets on my nerves. Saladin Ahmed is the writer of Miles Morales. You see, I really don't know what's going on with modern Marvel, DC, and I still get a few Image comics because Image is a confederacy of independent creators. You know what I mean? So, whatever, you know, some of them I really like, some of them I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. So, there you go. I cuss all the time too, but I miss old-time Marvel cuss words like blast. Yeah, dang. Yeah, my stars and garters. Yeah, that's a good one. I wish I could fix all the CG. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Marcus, traveling CG internet provider. Okay, so now let's look at this. This is Star Trek Picard's Academy, and it says Mags. So I was like, oh my God, do I have a Magdalene Visaggio comic book? I was like, oh my God, I'm about to read my first Magdalene Visaggio's comic, but it's not. It's Sam Mags. I didn't know there was a Sam Mags. Okay, we got the Heather Antos autograph. So this is Jean-Luc Picard. Anybody have a comment? Anybody have a comment? This is Jean-Luc Picard. Anybody have a comment while I drink my coffee? Nobody? Shadowpunk. Actually, replacing swear words with new ones makes us smarter. I try to remind myself. Yeah. I have a horror comic planned in the future. If I ever get, to that point where I can make it, there will be swear words in it. I mean, there's going to be nudity and it's going to be murder and death in it. So like a swear word will be the least of the offensive things. But for my superhero comics, there's no need to curse. There's no need to curse. They must have gotten the likeness rights for Patrick Stewart. Part of the problem is all modern cards look like Photoshop ads. New comics are color oriented. No more ink slingers. Wow. That's a good comment. I never thought of that. Comics with Jose. Can I just call you Jose instead of Comics with Jose? You can call me John. You don't have to call me John's Longbox. That's a good point. That's a really good point. I didn't think of that. You got to admit a Picard origin story was inevitable. He's a little sorry for young Picard. Yo. Look at that. That wistful thinking. I mean, we all know that Picard had hair back then, so that doesn't bother. But just, it looks nothing like Picard. And what is this expression? Oh my God. And do they use books like this? Is this a nitpick in the Academy? Do they, what is this called? The Codex? Is that the official name for this type of book? Do they use codexes like this? That's one of the most generic modern Nickelodeon faces. Comics Raider. That's a new name. Thank you. Thank you for popping in. So let's open the book. And we got Picard's agenda over here. This pixelation is just killing me. So, academic progress report. So these are his teachers. Of course, Spock is one of his teachers. The writer, Sam Maggs. Artist, Ornella Greco. Colorist, Charlie Kirchhoff. And letterer, Jeff Eckelberry. I don't know why that made me laugh, but I'm a little kid. 2023 is what the indicia says. I'm not picking it up and showing you because of the pixelation. So now we're talking about the Earth-Romulan War. And we got this space battle. Very cartoony. I don't know. Art's not for me. The art is not for me. I don't know. What do you say, guys? But here's a Federation Romulan battle. There you go. That's what it looks like. And there we got Picard in class. That's not right. He's raising his hand to correct the professor. You know it all. The professor's like, you think I made an error? He's like, yeah, there's one too many ships. There's one too many ships. And he's like, and then these other people are like, oh my God, Picard's doing it again. And then look at this guy. Oh my God. I'm going to risk pixelation because you need to see this guy's face. Okay. Look at that guy. Okay. That's the guy who's the top student. Top student. Look at that guy. No, the number's correct. They always forget that there was a Romulan ship that was cloaked throughout the whole fight. So there was the correct number. Oh my God. Look at that guy. All right. He's a full-fledged Betazoid, so he's telepathic. Oh, thank you, Marcus. For all of you news to John's Longbox, back to Comic Heroic Tales, I'll show you my campaign in a little bit. Thank you, Marcus. Marcus, keeping me focused. Keeping me focused, Marcus. The artwork is very cartoony. Is it meant for kids? You tell me. Is this meant for kids? Oh, it's not, and I'll show you why. Okay. So now we have a battle now. The top student in class, the dreamy Betazoid with the nice hair, is corrected Picard, who corrected his teacher. Now, I like The Next Generation. I watched it. I rewatched it. I watched it a few times. It was a big deal back in college. We'd all sit around and watch it. And then my wife and I sat and rewatched it all and really, really enjoyed it. Big fan of The Next Generation. They went a few times into Picard's past. I don't think he was like this. Like in the Academy, wasn't he a Hellraiser who was like breaking hearts and starting fights? And that's what he got stabbed in the heart, and that's what caused his problems. He's nerd. He's nerd guy. He's nerd guy, corrected his teaching. Excuse me, you got it wrong. And now he's just obsessed with this other guy to be the top student. So now we got Marty over here. So Marty shows up, and Marty Batinides. She's human. She's incredibly smart, quick on her feet, and witty. Everyone likes her. Very pretty eyes. Wait, did I say that? Picard back then was a ladies' man. You know what I mean? It's like she has pretty eyes, and she invites him to a dorm room party. Okay, so it's the dorm room party over here. It's like, I can't go to a party. Tomorrow is the evasive maneuvers exam. It's our first space test, and I got to do this. If I could pass this test, I could get accelerated and graduate early, and blah blah blah. And he's like, but don't you want to get to meet the other people in the academy? We all got to work together, blah blah blah. He's like, no, I work better solo. Picard had a crew, and he's like, he goes, I don't make mistakes, and I don't have time for fun. And he leaves the pretty Marty Batinides in the street. Now he's just walking around 2325 San Francisco, California on Earth. And he's just, getting ready to study. And as I turn the page, it's going to pixelate. So while it's fixing up, I will visit the comments. Jose, it's a woke retelling. Yes. I only like the original Star Trek. The other stuff is different. Yes, I'm a hardcore original Star Trek fan. I will show my, there you go. I just vaporized half my house. I love the original Star Trek. My dream is to get on Graham Nolan's landing party show one day. I would love that. You don't like Discovery or Upper Decks? I watched the first episode of Discovery and I was done. I was done. To me, the end of Star Trek, even though I'm one season into one and a half seasons into Deep Space Nine, I just don't like it. I know everybody tells me it gets better and better, but so far the characters are just so unlikable. I just don't like it. So I didn't get to Voyager yet, and I didn't watch Enterprise. But to me, the ending of Star Trek is at the end of Enterprise. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but once J.J. Abrams came into Star Trek, that's it. That I'm done with Star Trek. So nothing past Enterprise. Enterprise is the last Star Trek for me, even though I didn't watch it yet. That's my dividing line. I really didn't like the pilot episode of Discovery. I don't like this art. It looks overwhelmingly corporate and lifeless. I'm not going to argue. This this does not scream Star Trek to me. This does not scream Star Trek to me at all. And and then they go to, so okay, didn't Crackle call those heaters? Yes, yes, that's the corporations have destroyed all the great franchises. Absolutely, absolutely, Jose, absolutely, Jose. You're new to my channel. I think you just posted today on one of my videos, and then you're here. So thank you. It's good to see. And you have a comics channel too. Why don't you come on my channel? We'll talk about it. I'll promote you guys. I'll go on your channel, promote my comic. It's all fun and games. It's all literally, it's all fun and games. But if you've been following my channel, you know that I am very quick to just cut something off. Star Wars, guys, I was done with Star Wars when the prequels came out. I remember going to see the first Star Wars. I was super excited. I went opening day. Doogie Howser, whatever that actor's, Patrick, whatever his name was, Neil Patrick Harris was in front of me in the line. We were talking. We went in, we sat down, and I was like, that was terrible. I didn't want to go to the second movie, but my friend Paul wanted to see it. And then the third movie, Paul wanted to see it again. And I was like, these aren't good. And we all forget how much we hated the sequels to the point we made George Lucas sell Star Wars. Us, the fans. We complained so much that he was done. And in my mind, Star Wars is 3 movies. Never watched anything else. I take it back. I watched the first sequel movie. I saw the prequels. I watched the first, and I was done. I was like, I can't take this. They wasted Carrie Fisher and Luke and Mark Hamill and whatever. It was just terrible. And that was it. I didn't watch the cartoons. I don't watch it. I'm done with Star Wars. Star Wars is over. 3 movies. And now, the more that I think back at it, George Lucas ruined Star Wars. Who was the other? Gary Kurtz? Was that his partner? Gary Kurtz is the one who really made everything good about Star Trek. I'm sure I'm getting the name wrong, but I digress. So yes, he's in the library, because that's what libraries look like in the 24th century. Books. Look at this. He's got a stack of books. He's got a pen. Did this writer watch Star Trek? You know what I mean? This is not what you do. And they're yelling shots. Yay! He's walking home. Kurtz, did I say the right thing, Marcus? Did I say the right thing? See, he's walking. So he can't study because he could hear the party. Starfleet Academy is so small that he could hear the people partying from their dorm rooms in the library, because in the 24th century they didn't perfect soundproofing. That's how small Starfleet Academy. It's only the most prestigious academy in the galaxy, but it's so small you could hear shots. Yeah. So what does he do? He goes to the groundskeeper. If you remember one of the episodes, Picard talked about that he was friendly with the groundskeeper. Again, this pixelation is driving me crazy. Sorry, guys. And he's sitting there talking to the groundskeeper, and the groundskeeper is telling him, "You got to make friends. You got to make friends. Nobody wants to be friends with me." And basically, the groundskeeper says, "You want to make friends? You got to be friendly." Look, this is Star Trek. Literally, people sitting around drinking coffee, exploring their feelings. Okay, there you go. That's Star Trek. That's what I want from Star Trek. So we meet the dreamy Betazoid with that wonderfully ethnic looking fellow with the Trump hair. I don't know. And he just walks by him and he's like, "What do you think you're going? We have plans." So he basically strong arms him into a holodeck. And what does he do? He's going to set up a program. Now, here's where I said this is not the kids. So this is Jean-Luc Picard. Okay. Jean-Luc Picard is the narrator. Jean-Luc Picard is the storyteller. He goes, so he says, and land myself on the fast track to, so he wants to take this test and accelerate on it, because then he could graduate early. He goes, if I graduate early, I get myself fast tracked as possible. So he's wasting my time, and he knows it. Like I said, he's a total dick. There you go. That's how Picard talks. That's how Picard talks. So what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? So now they're redoing the Romulan battle, and the instead of the Federation winning, the Romulans win. You cheated. You cheated. How dare you accuse me of cheating? This is a ripoff of the Kobayashi Maru, you know? So they start fist fighting. He beats up Picard, and he gets interrupted by Spock. You know, because that's what Spock does. You know, Spock's not an ambassador. Remember, he was an ambassador, but, you know, Spock is the character that all the SJWs love, so he's in everything. They love everything. And there we got, look at this artwork, you know. So, you know. Oh, and I must point out that the strong, literally the strong female character, that's a female, built like a man. And look at the love. You know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. So Marty loves Picard. Picard loves himself. This guy's a jerk, and the two female aliens, you know, like they love each other because that's what they do. And then we got this. Look at that. That was approved for the cover. Okay, there we go. So there you go. This is trash. It's trash. Okay, Strange New Worlds. Okay, there's the autograph by Heather Antos. So much flat space. Why would Spock be there? I know. In continuity, Spock wasn't Spock like an ambassador at this point. He wasn't a teacher at the academy. Why did this? Yeah, the SJWs always love Spock. I don't know. Orgy on 10 forward at 4th. Yeah, let's go. Some person, orgy at 10 forward. I hate this book. I hate the art, and I hate the story. There you go. There's the quote. Spock has a monster beak. Yes. So here we got Strange New Worlds, the Illyrian Enigma. I never watched any Strange New Worlds. People telling me it's good. I wouldn't know. I don't watch any new Trek. So here we got, you know, Captain Pike. We got Spock and T'Pol, the Andorran, and they're all just thinking about life in general. And it turns out now that Commander Una Chin Riley, who's played by Rebecca Jean Stamos in the show, or whatever her name, Rebecca Ramos, or whatever, Mystique, she's been revealed as an Illyrian, and the Illyrians are not part of the Federation. They're sneaky. I don't know. Is this part of the show? I've never watched it. I don't know. So I'm just buying it as we go. I love this Enterprise. I don't know about you guys. The Enterprise is my favorite spaceship. There's something about the design. Maybe it's the nostalgia, but I just love the Enterprise. And you can see over my shoulder, I got right there. There's an Enterprise model. I love the Enterprise. The cover, yeah, look at that. Now, what is this cover? I'm not an artist. I know Marcus is an artist. Anybody in the chat an artist? I got 30 people. Artists, give me your impression. Is this just my 3D models just colored? Is this just a photograph colored? Because this is definitely a 3D model of the Enterprise, just recolored. And there we go. I know this might just be an inserted 3D model of the Enterprise colored, but you know what? I love the Enterprise. Okay. So now we got, I was going to say Picard. Now we got Captain Pike, and he's talking to the person of color who's in charge. How does the Federation operate when all the admirals are terrible? It's like Marvel Comics. All the senators and congressmen of supervillains. You know, in Star Trek, even the original series, and even the Next Generation, all the superior, Starfleet officers, the guys above Picard, were all jerks. So I can't complain about that. This guy's a jerk. And what are they doing? She's arrested. So she's arrested, and they're sending them on a milk run to deliver sanitation supplies to a far-off colony to help them. You know, it sounds like a necessary humanitarian aid mission, but it's far away from where the first officer is being held, and he knows it. And he tells them, he goes, "We're doing this to keep you out of here. We got to protect your career. Trust us." You know, So we got to deal with it. And they're like, what's wrong with her being an Illyrian? It's like, it's not. She lied to us. She said she was human. You know, we never had this before. We never had somebody fake a species, fake another species, and get into. We don't know if she's an operative for the Illyrian. Sounds like a real security threat. You know what I mean? So we need to deal with this. Just stay out of our way. He says, you have my word that this will be as fair as possible. Now Spock comes in. You know, Spock now gets promoted to first officer, and you know they're dealing with it. They're going to go on this mission to deliver space maxi pads to whatever. And then we got all the female girl bosses, and you'll see why. So they're going on a mission, and Uhura is leading a group. The two girls over here and a white guy. Oh, let's address the chat. I'm sorry. Yes, that's a 3D model. Okay, I'm getting artists confirming. These people haven't heard of dramatic lighting. Maybe paint over photo reference. That's what I thought of. I couldn't articulate. Thank you, Oscar. By the way, Oscar Carano is doing some coloring for my comic. He colored Unheroic Tales. He banged it out of the park. He's also coloring Mary Sue. Daniel De La Silva will be coloring the other story. And Oscar could draw, man. I'm trying to think of I have this story in mind. I just don't know what issue it's going to be that Oscar would be perfect to draw in. So, guys, Oscar is available for work. He's professional. He's on time. He's a good guy. If anybody needs him, Oscar, put your Twitter handle in the chat so people could contact you. They just leave a plainly colored figure. Yeah. 3D models are okay if you redraw over it to make it fit in the art. That's an argument for artists to decide. I don't know, because maybe I've been seeing 3D models since the 60s. Kirby and Stan Lee used them, so I can't say it's wrong. But don't make it obvious. Don't make it so that a schmuck like me can see it. Copy and paste, increase size by 20%. These artists need to read How to Draw Comics and Marvel. Absolutely. That's why I said modern art of Photoshop ads. Drawing is no longer required. I draw digital but use old-fashioned methods. My John Byrne, Walt Simon. You got hey, Comics with Jose. Put some of your artwork on Twitter and at me at it. Marcus, could you put my Twitter handle in the chat? So Comics with Jose, because my Twitter is ridiculous. I know what the artist must be thinking. F this writer, I'll do a hack job so I don't have to talk to her. What he's probably thinking, I wouldn't say that. I'm trying to be as honest and as good faith as possible. What he's really thinking is, they're paying me so low, I got to do other work to make it. So I don't have time to do all this. I'm going to do the easiest thing, the easiest. So if you're interested in hooking up with Oscar for some work, there's his Twitter, Maljibri. Let me know if I said that right. Some influences plus Tim and Lars. Yes. He worked with my childhood friend Dan Sen for Argo 5. Lifeless writing and lifeless art. Why even make a comic like this? This is a safety. Again, I don't know. Am I one of the only people that still listen to your boy Zach, Diversity in Comics, Comics Matter every day? It's like my thing. I come home, I get my mail, I take a shower, I brew a pot of coffee, and I go through my mail while listening to Diversity in Comics. It's just comforting. It's just comforting, And this is my Twitter handle for anybody who wants to reach me. Thank you, Marcus. Oh, Odin. I didn't realize I was Odin Desco. Odin Desco, the greatest mustache in Comicsgate. Odin's such a cool guy. I've better art and flash animations from 2004. I don't know why that comment made me giggle. And Comics Raider, where is that image from in your avatar? That is pretty cool. Not every day. I skip a lot of his videos. Totally understandable. He's been aggravating me for the past couple of weeks, and then bragging about how he's aggravating people. Richard is his own worst enemy, man. And I no longer, I used to comment with him. It's just a waste of time. Although I do email him every once in a while, and he responds, and he's very nice, very polite. But then again, I'm not antagonistic. So let's get back to this nonsense, okay? Because I only got 5% on my speakers before Echo City happens. So, because the sound is the only thing that's working in this video. So this is Lieutenant O'Hara. She's got that girl boss haircut instead of, she's not beautiful like she is on the show. I always found Nicole Richards to be extremely beautiful. She was a slender model who was picked to be on the show, and of course, she's a dumpy, dare I say it, butch dyke in the comic. Look at this. This is supposed to be O'Hara, and they're looking at each other. So here comes this woman over here. Who is this woman? That's Christine Chappell, Dr. Chappell, played by Major Barrett Roddenberry. She comes in and tells this guy, "You better go. You're wanted in engineering." And he's like, "I am. I'm still on break. You better go." And like, whew, okay, they're not asking me for engineering. No, I wanted his seat. Now the girls could talk. They got rid of that white man, and now the girls could talk, and they could come up with the plan, to save Una, from the horrible, horrible, horrible injustices of the fact that she lied and she's not of the same species that she said she was, and the species is hostile to the Federation. So, but that doesn't matter. We like her, and we have to, defy all the rules, because we're not Starfleet officers who are ruled by logic, rule of law, deduction, empirical data. We are ruled by girl boss energy. So you can pretty much tell how I feel about this comic. So now all the girls are telling the stupid men how to do stuff. Spock, Apple Pie. I don't know this character's name. So we got to go at. So like, just look at this. I would like to put this out. This is Lieutenant O'Hara's body. Okay, when the pixelation goes away, just guys, I don't know. Marcus, can you please fix my internet? But this is Lieutenant O'Hara's body. Oh my God, it's infuriating. It's infuriating. We can't. And then this drives me nuts. This is Lieutenant O'Hara. This is Lieutenant in the same panel. There's no differentiation. There's no box. How is she? I know what they're doing, but there's no line or anything. She's in two places at once. I guess she's a Q. So now they're telling the captain and Spock how they could do this. So they have strict orders not to go into Illyrian colonies. Apparently the Illyrians are invading, and they set up colonies all over the world. But they can go close enough, and she's super space queen. She could radio them, and they could communicate with them. And then she's saying, there's nothing wrong with their DNA, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Dr. Mbenda. Okay. So new character, can't say anything about him. He's the doctor. And we talk about if we just deviate from our course slightly, we will be in, communication range, and we could talk to the Illyrians and still do our job, Okay. So there you go. Okay. We could still say hello. And then we got the Enterprise over there. Damn, I just love the Enterprise. It is just such a cool ship. The original Star Trek Enterprise. Although I ended up liking the Enterprise D, but I just love the original Enterprise. It's just so cool. I just love that. Oscar, the difficult working with franchise is very strict with the likeness. I was working with some Star Wars with Marvel, and I was going crazy. Yeah. I know some people did not like to have their likeness. I know the action figures with Star Wars, they expressly did not want the figures to look like the characters. I don't know if that was from the actors or if that was whatever, but a lot of times you're absolutely right. I can imagine Antos talking yourself with the line, trying the lines out. Every female character is a self-insert. Well, she didn't write it, but Dr. Mbaka Shakalaka Boom Boom, I think that's his full name. Him. So now they're going to follow. Of course, the captain is going to follow the plans hatched by the women after they got rid of that troublesome white male. And Fat O'Hara, just look at this. Just look at this. That's supposed to be Lieutenant Natalia Richards was a freaking model and a dancer. She was a model and a dancer. I think she would, if she was alive, she'd be like, this is the way you see me. You know how much I starved and worked out to get that shape, and this is the way you put me in your freaking comic book. At least respect the work that I've done, And so now they're making contact with the Illyrians. Again, that looks like Kardashians to me, but what do I know? Are these Illyrians? Are they in the show? I don't watch this show. Could anybody give me some information about this? So now they're talking. He's like, oh yes, we are over here. These are the coordinates. We'd love to talk. We'd love to set up diplomatic relations. Everything is shady. Not shady. We got off to a rocky start. Let's try to fix everything. And apparently in Enterprise, they made first contact with the Illyrians. That's what they say in this comic. I don't know if it's true yet. And they had like a bad first encounter that peppered their relations going forward. So they're working on the TV continuity, I think. So, okay, we're going to meet. We're going to talk. He's like, where's this coming from? We don't know. It's bouncing off this. We can't find where he is. We think the signal's coming from someplace over here. So Spock says that's illogical. If they're trying to open up dialogue, why would they be someplace else? Pike is drinking. I guess he has a fire pit in his room. And, they're reaching the colony. And it's just filled with meteors and asteroids. But the thing is that they're all equidistant. There's a pattern, which is not normal. And it's a trap. Dun, dun, dun. You'll still not that trapped. So there you go. The Illyrian saga, and it continues next issue. And look at these covers. 3D models. 3D. Look at that. That is, when it's pixelated, it looks like a photograph. But look at that. That's just Photoshop. That's just cut and paste. I'm not an artist, and even I know that. Here's the cover I got. Look at this one. This is the most egregious. This isn't even done well. This is just photocop. This is just pictures of these actors. Look at that. That's Uhura. That's Uhura. She looks like Dave Chappelle. And they're just like throwing bad Photoshop. This is awful. This is offensive. That's how bad it is. So there you go. Malachi Ward did that one. I wouldn't hire that guy. If it meant the only way I can make a comic book is to have Malachi Ward, I'm not making the comic. There you go. So there you go. This is trash. Okay, garbage. And now we have Star Trek Halloween. This is the last. I will be going after this. Yes, Forehead Alien 455. That's one of my big things about Star Trek, and I understand why they did it. The show didn't have that great of a budget, so they mostly just put latex masks on people and gobbledygook on their forehead. They can't always just make really extravagant aliens. I understand it not with the TV show budget. So I'm forgiving for that, but whatever. All right. So here we got, you can see the autograph by Heather Antos over here. I'm so lucky. And written by Chris Sequeira, art by Joe Isma, colors by Charlie Kirchhoff, letters by Clayton Cowles, and group editor Heather Antos. And this is 2023. Okay. So now we got Counselor Troy is just picking up. I'm an empath with the ability to pick up the obvious. Yeah, that's like the biggest joke in the Next Generation. Like, Worf would be like, Captain, they're arming their photon torpedoes. And then Donna Troy would be like, I'm sensing hostility, Captain. And like Riker would be like, man, if you didn't have those titties, you'd be off the bridge in a minute. Captain, those titties say that we're picking up hostility. I mean, Deanna Troy says that we're picking up hostilities. Now, also, since I'm being crude, she's in her uniform. She's not in her cleavage bearing outfits, because this is an SJW comic. So here we got a 3D model of the Enterprise. What's that fiery galaxy in the distance? Timmy's stuck in a well. So empaths like Troy don't have to look at the danger; they just sense it. Yeah. So, and then just guys, Can you see this? There's the bridge. Tell me this just isn't photo reference just colored over. My Nathan Fries wrapper. Here you go. My Nathan's fries. I love Nathan's French fries. Every once in a while, I just stop and get Nathan's French fries. Why? Because I'm a disgusting slob. Disgusting slob. So look at this. Look at this. And then we got Picard over here. Tell me that's not just photo reference. God, this pixelation is killing me. Tell me that's not just photo reference. Data over here. I almost could tell you what episode this was swiped from. At least they gave Deanna Troi a booty over here. Look at this. This is just appalling. This isn't drawn. This is just, my 3D assets, 3D models. This is just, let's make a comic book with Photoshop. Guys, I know Oscar's an artist. I know Marcus is an artist. I know a few guys are. I say AI would be better than this. At least it would be creative. Look at it's all flat angles. It's all flat, and it's just literal photographs of the Enterprise just colored over. It's just gross. So now she's saying everybody's on edge. We should have something for improve morale. Okay, that's Deanna Troi's job, improve morale. So they're gonna have Halloween. So she's like on primitive Earth culture of Halloween, and Worf's like, we had Macron, which was a way that we taught the youth of Klingons to fight, battle sea serpents, to overcome fear. So so now we got this energy thing just attracted to, for whatever reason, everybody on the ship is scared, and this energy being comes in through the holodeck. Now, if I was in charge of Star Trek, the first thing I would do is unplug the holodeck, because the holodeck is the biggest enemy of Star Trek. Every time they go into the holodeck, every time they turn on the holodeck, it breaks, that they become real, that somebody gets trapped, somebody goes crazy, or they're having sex with replicas of all the girls on staff. You telling me, like, we know Barclay was doing it. It was obvious, but Riker is, just imagine your job is to scrub the holodeck every day. Go and scrub the holodeck. You'd be like, I guess I pissed off Picard, but just turn off the holodeck and use it for storage. So they're skiing in the holodeck and they get attacked. Boom, boom. Of course, I didn't notice this. I did not notice this, guys. It's two women. It's two women on a date. I didn't notice it. That's how poorly drawn it is. I didn't notice that it was two women. So now this fear entity is trapping them. And look at this. Okay? Just look at how egregiously that is. Look. They're in that's just a photograph. That's just a photograph with some color on them. It is just awful. And now they're talking, we're gonna set up Halloween, and then Worf says, two officers, we can't find them. Oh, well, let's look for them. Let's look for them. And Captain, Worf is more concerned than he's saying. Yeah, thank you for being obvious. And then this guy's getting a checkup. He's walking down the deck, and the holodeck opens up. Again, the holodeck is always the enemy. This energy being comes out of the holodeck and absorbs him. There you go. So there you go. Get rid of the freaking holodeck. There's comments. Captain, there's a giant snail copulating with a giant brisket. I'd pay to see that episode. Looks like they do it too fast and almost no money. Yeah. Who are they paying? You know what I mean? They're doing this as cheap as possible. Barclay with the women and some men. Yeah, well, he was beating up Riker, if I remember. Next Generation Halloween issue better have a Q appearance. Yeah, there's no Q appearance. So now they're talking about they're missing. Now there's 3 people missing, and we got Whoopi Goldberg over here, who wishes she looked that good ever in her life. an Andorian over here. His mommy's not disappearing. So people are disappearing on the Enterprise. And they're all just sitting around, and then ha ha ha, Red Jack, which actually got me excited because that's one of my favorite episodes of the original series, Red Jack. Oh my God, did that episode scare the crap out of me? Where this energy being was not impersonating Jack. It was Jack the Ripper, and it fed on the fear, and then it moved on. It was flying through space. So apparently, in the comics, they fought Red Jack before, and now this is the second appearance of Red Jack. So he's scaring everybody because that's his food. And then we got Barclay shows up. I think I caused this. I did this. Now, the whole ship is under attack by an alien fear monster, and Deanna Troy's just sitting there, like they know what's going on. Deanna Troy's just sitting, and she's entertaining Barclay. Barclay's like, I think I caused. She knows he didn't cause it. He knows he didn't cause it. He's just being Barclay. Now, also correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Barclay like evolve into like this like super intelligent, cool? Yeah, he lost that, right? So she spends 2 pages calming Barclay down. Just be like, listen, I'll deal with you later. We got a crazy thing on the ship, so I'm just gonna handle some whatever, whatever. And now everybody's coming to the sick bay and down to Chlor. They want antidepressants and everything like that because SJWs wrote that. You take a pill, take your antidepressants, and then look at this photo reference of engineering. It's just blatant. Tell me this isn't, this looks like Miles O'Brien just repainted. Look at this. This is just the it's just stills from the show. This might as well just be a photo book. Just make it a photo book. And he goes in, and it's Jack the Ripper area. Red Jack comes out. It's that last guy. Whatever happened to the space lesbians? Maybe they're in the next issue. And he goes to fight Data, and he can't. And he's realizing he can't affect Data at all. Data doesn't have any emotions. So what does he do? He transforms into a Borg because that's scary, and then cuts off Data's head. And then of course, alas, poor Data, I knew him well, blah, blah, blah. He starts doing the obvious Shakespeare jokes, and Data's just like, Captain Picard will defeat you, and blah, 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 blah. And here's Captain Picard, his Worf, and then they open up the holodeck, and Red Jack transformed Data into Frankenstein's monster, and he's just running around scaring everybody. He's like, what's going on? And this is ridiculous. What's going on? And he's just having Data run around scaring everybody. That's Star Trek. That's Star Trek. This is cover to next issue, where Riker is a werewolf, Deanna Troi is the mummy. Here's Jack the Ripper. Look at this. Look at that cover. Look at this cover by Suspiria Vilches. Just look at this. Garbage. Star Trek Defiant. Star Trek The Red Path. The Last Ronin. People seem to like The Last Ronin. And there you go. Last Ronin. People like it. Terrible. Absolute garbage. So I started off with the good comics and I ended on the bad comics. Absolute trash. Absolute trash. Again, I don't like to do this, but I paid for it. And you guys already knew that I bought the comics. Some guys gave me some crap. I got some DMs like, how did you even talk to her? Yeah. One of the best comments was, because Heather Antos and I, I put my arm around it. She put her arm around me and we took a picture. And somebody sent me a DM. Congratulations. Now you have herpes. But these are the comics. Again, I'm trying to do this in good faith. I don't think I just meticulous. Oh, and there was cursing. They say F, they curse. In a Star Trek comic. They don't curse in Star Trek. There's no cursing in Star Trek. I don't know. Is it official or this is official? This is official, Oscar. This is official. IDW. It used to be one of the best comic book companies, and it looks like a Mexican photo novel. Yeah, it does. It does. But there you go. IDW. What's this stock? John Delarose is always going off with their stock is plummeting. I heard, but I don't, you know, I don't know if it's true or not, but that IDW just lost the Star Trek IP, or it's about to, or it's whatever. So there you go. These are the. So I'll put them in order of horribleness. This is the worst. Oh, I don't know. This was the worst. This was the worst. This at least had Red Jack in it. Okay. And then I give this one the benefit of the doubt because I don't really know the characters too well. But man, the way they drew Uhura is absolutely horrible. This was okay. This was a C. This is okay. And this was, I'd say this one was good. It's just not good enough for me to collect or buy. But so there you go. This is the array of the Heather Antos package. There you go. There you go. This one had the best quality, if you ask me, best art. It's just not my. This just isn't my thing. You know, this is not my thing. Even less. Like this one, I might even say, guys, if you bought this, you might even enjoy it. But this, I wouldn't recommend to anybody. But it wasn't bad. It just, I just didn't like. And these are garbage. The Star Trek comics are absolute garbage. So, as I normally do, I'll stay live until, as long as the comments are coming. As soon as the comments die down, I'll drop off. Nobody took me up on my offer of joining. You know, I put the first comment in the what was it, open invitation to join. What Dale say? I think you could buy the entire IDW company for like $3 million. Probably, but like Ethan Van Sciver said, why buy it? It's a company that does IPs. Just get the IPs. You know, if you're going to buy IDW, but what do you got? Star Trek is leaving. The Turtles are leaving. You know, so why buy the company? It's like buying an empty store. You know what I mean? Just I got a store that used to sell Levi's. I got a store that used to sell Carhartt. I got a store that used to sell Coke, but now it doesn't. But I got the store. So yeah, if you're thinking like that, see if you can get the IP for Star Trek. See if you get the IP for G.I. Joe or whatever. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Waiting for Saturday's Ant-Man. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Well, tomorrow, Saturday, I have a conversation with Trevor, whose last name is escaping me at this moment. He did a comic called Rise. I picked up Rise #1 because I really like the superhero design. Issue #2 is on Kickstarter right now. So he's going to come in at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. I put 11 because I'm crazy, and I was thinking about 11 o'clock for it because we're going to have an exterminator come. So that's why I put a, you know, we have an exterminator go around the outside of the house because can't have termites. Don't have termites, but a little preventive medicine. So that's that. And then Saturday, and then Sunday, I'll do Sunday comics at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be the first appearance of Scott Lang as Ant-Man. Not the first appearance of Scott Lang. Scott Lang first appeared, and I think in Avengers 187, the first appearance of Taskmaster. So there you go. Odin, what does Odin say? I accidentally got an IDW book that I really like called Golgotha Motor Mountain, but you typically avoid them. I got nothing against the company. If the company's, now I gotta sneeze. Oh God, come on, sneeze. I used to really like IDW. Oh, this sneeze is gonna kill me. It used to have like so much good stuff, like Usagi Yojimbo, So but the company ruined itself. What do you want me to say? Image just went full on. At one point, Image was the best comic book company out there around 2005. It was just pure quality, And I don't know what happened, Better like Dynamite working with free rights characters. Yeah, that's people seem to be using public domain characters. Just so you know, I'm never using public domain characters in my comics. I want to make up my own characters. I want to own them. I want to control them. Me, Renzo, and Oscar, and Ron. If anything does happen to them, we benefit. but I don't want I nothing against you guys use them, but they all do the same thing. They all went into suspended animation and they all wake up now in the future. It's the same thing. Alan Moore did it. Everybody uses these public domain characters. I would like the public domain characters if they were actually in the 40s, you know. But what do you want? You got any of the Tick? Yeah, I did a Sunday Comics with the Tick. One of my very first ones. I did the first issue of the Tick. I think I have almost all of the Tick comics. I really like the Tick. I wonder how much you could buy Valiant Comics for. 30 million? Yeah, I'll write a check tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know. At one point, I knew that the Villains and Vigilantes, the role-playing game, and all the back stock was available for $30,000. And I was like, that's like I could take out a loan and be the, but I would have been screwed. Good thing I didn't do it. Johnny, hey RJ, how you doing? How's everything? I always forget I'm 2 hours before you and get the yeah, you're in Mexico and yeah, out by California, right? I used to love IDW too. Yeah, it was a good company. It was a good company. 30 Days of Dark, The Crow, you know, Usagi Yojimbo. It used to be so good. IDW was cool. I was working with the Avengers Children franchise. It was cool. Oh, I didn't know that, Oscar. Did you do the art? You do the coloring? You do both? And that is weird that IDW was doing what was it called? Marvel Superheroes, The Avengers. Was that the name of the title? And it was just like an old school Blue Sky comic book. You know, it was fine. I don't know what happened with them. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure you could buy Marvel for $3. Not really. They're still milking it to make movies. You know, it's not until the movies are guaranteed bombs before, you know, they'll cut Marvel loose. And I kind of hope that. Well, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going. You know, I'm not going back to that ex-girlfriend. I did a 6-page Cull story note in public at the back of Unconditional Shove. I did a poetic Hal Foster-like retelling of the mirrors. Oh, cool. I never read a Cull story, not even a Marvel comic. I famously never was into sword and sorcery comics as a kid. I just didn't like them. And now, because of RJ got me into sword and sorcery, and I might as well give RJ a plug. Here are RJ's comics. I got Kit Fox, drawn by my buddy Renzo Rodriguez. And Valiant Heroes. I think this is also drawn by Renzo. And Valiant Heroes. So I got the graphic novel and I got the floppies because RJ's my boy. So there you go. FourthAgeComics.com. You can pick them up. IDW published all those artists and artists edition. Yeah, they were a premier company when they debuted. They were you know, they were a big, popular, important company, and they squandered it. So that's it. An hour and 18 minutes. I didn't plan on staying on this long. I didn't even plan on making a video today at all. Oh, tomorrow night, depending on what time my guest leaves, I might do It's Clobbering Time and what was it, Daredevil versus Nightwing. So same thing. I'll put out a link. Everybody's invited. If you do show up, there's a couple of ground rules. The last thing we're going to talk about is the actual fight, but we're going to talk about the characters themselves. Who's a better character? Who has better stories? Who has better high points? Who has better low points? Better villains? Things like that. So that'll probably happen. But you know, I don't know what time because I got to wait for my guests to. I have two couples. So 6 of us, we play a game called Charterstone. It's a legacy game. So you gotta have the same people. You keep playing. The state of the game changes at the end. It's a lot of fun. See you Sunday. Thanks a lot. We got Crom the Destroyer. And Renzo are going to do all the comics. You know, I would love that. Renzo's getting so much better and better. Renzo is working. I think he's 5 pages into Heroic Tales #2, and he made a promo poster for issue 3 of Heroic Tales, which I will not be debuting until it's colored and lettered. But, if this doesn't get you excited, you know, you're going to be like, when's issue 3 coming out? Well, issue 1 didn't even ship yet. Later, have a kick-ass rest of your evenings. Yes, I agree. Good night, everybody. And before I get distracted and keep on talking, um, let's see. Is anybody streaming? I kind of like the Bogan raids that Michael Bancroft does. So who's streaming? Uh, uh, oh, anybody interested in Vaughn Coleman on his channel? Vaughn Coleman. So just go over to Vaughn Coleman and make fun of his hair. Just tell him John's Longbox says you have silly hair. So let's go to Vaughn Coleman. Tell him he has silly hair, everybody. Good night. Bye-bye.